What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers didn't make any type of trades at all, which was a little surprising to me. I mean, that was always a possibility, but I thought the Lakers would make some minor moves, although this trade deadline was actually kind of boring, right? There wasn't really like any huge significant trades. They were all kind of just role players, role guys. So I don't really mind the Lakers standing pat. The only ones that I was like, man, I wish that they would have gotten was like Gafford and Royce O'Neal. Outside of that, it was like, all right, everyone else that went, no biggie. But Rob Pelinka put it and said, hey, you can't buy a house when it's not for sale. And so the Lakers' plan is to be heavily aggressive in the buyout market. And there are some very notable players and pieces here in the buyout market that I want to talk about a handful of them. So far, I'll give you kind of the list and the rundown. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. But you got Joe Harris, Killian Hayes, Harry Giles, Daniel House, Marcus Morris, Spencer Dinwiddie, Victor Oladipo, Seth Curry, Corey Josephs, Danilo Gallinari, Robin Lopez, James Bournight, and Furkan Korkmaz. So, again, let's dive into a couple of the names, ones that I think would have the most impact and potential for the Lakers. One of the things that I talked about right before we get into this, one of the things that I talked about going into the trade deadline and all that stuff is that, look, even if the Lakers got DeJounte Murray, they would have needed more. But if they could get 2, 3, 4 players, then maybe they could really turn things around. And there are a couple notable names. I don't think that the Lakers are going to get 4 or 5 guys off of the buyout market, but I do think if they get 2 or 3, again, I'm not saying like any of these buyout guys are going to instantly make the Lakers a contender, but I do think that there are a couple that could have a significant impact collectively if they were brought in for the Lakers. So first one, Spencer Dinwiddie. He's the one that I think could have the most impact because he is a true starting level type of point guard playmaker in this league. 30 years old, 6'5". He's got good size, decent athleticism. He's not like a hyper athlete or anything like that, but good physicality. He is, or was now, because he's no longer with the Brooklyn Nets, but he was struggling pretty mightily with them. He was a guy that had an excellent season with the Dallas Mavericks and just a really good run with them, period. So if you look at right before he was traded to the Brooklyn Nets, he played in 53 games for the Dallas Mavericks, averaged 34 minutes per game. He shot 45.5% from the field, almost 41% from three-point range on 6.4 attempts, shot 50% from the field on 2-point attempts. I had an EFG of 55.5%, shot 82% from the foul line, had 3 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1 steal, half a block, and averaged 17.7 points. Lakers could get that. That would be massive. And I actually think Spencer Dinwiddie makes a lot of sense in the starting unit for the Lakers. To me, this is just me. Again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. But for me personally, I think D'Lo as your point, Dinwiddie as your 2. Eventually, when Vanderbilt comes back, you have Vando at your 3, LeBron at your 4, AD at your 5. I just think Spencer Dinwiddie would give you some secondary playmaking. Hopefully, he can provide some level of 3-point shooting, and then also his ability to just get into the teeth of the defense at times, get to the basket a little bit. Obviously, he's not like a DeJounte Murray or anything like that, but he is a guy that could go get you, 15 to 17 a game, make some plays, get some assists. I think he'd be solid. And then move Austin Reeves into that 6-man role off the bench. Hopefully when Gabe Vincent comes back, you could have Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves as like your backup backcourt. And Austin Reeves, I just think is best in that 6-man role. He gives you the same production, whether he starts or come off the bench. And to him, it's more so about the role in minutes, which I think he'd be able to have coming off the bench, and that would kind of bolster your bench unit. I also think that would kind of be your leg up on a team like Dallas, where it's like, hey, Kyrie, Luka, you probably aren't going to start, but if you come here, we give you a starting role, and you can play alongside D'Lo, and that could be something that they could do. But I like the idea of Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he'd be a really solid addition for the Lakers. Moving on. Lakers need a center. Not a ton of centers out there. But Robin Lopez is a free agent, and he is out and he is available after being bought out. And I think the Lakers should grab him. Now, again, he's not like, the many people call him, Sideshow Bob, a little eccentric, but he's more of a guy that is, to me, a true 7-footer. He's 7'1". He's got good size, good strength. He's not afraid of physicality. He can be aggressive. This is a guy that, again, like the Lakers, they don't need some superstar center or anything like that. They just need somebody right now that can come in, be physical, fill a role, play 10 minutes a game when Anthony Davis is getting some rest. You can still run Jackson Hayes and stuff like that, but just to have that extra body, that guy that could come in and make a real impact in just the limited minutes. I know Robin Lopez can be very frustrating as a player at times, right? There are times where you're just like, dude, get this guy off the basketball court. But you're not demanding or asking him to play any type of significant role. You're asking him to give you like 8 to 10 minutes a game. Can he give you, three rebounds, 4 rebounds in that time, a couple blocks, something like that, right? He has had some very decent seasons. But again, he's not his brother. He's not Brook Lopez, but he's just, again, what other options are there out there, right? There's guys like Bismack Biyombo, stuff like that. But again, that you're talking about an undersized center. At least at the end of the day, he is a true 7-footer. So to me, like, you can't teach size. You can't make up for that. And you need the body to throw at Jokic. As we saw in the Denver Laker game, it's a problem. And Jackson Hayes, he isn't big enough. He's not strong enough where he's just getting tossed around. And I just think if you could go get a guy like a Robin Lopez to come in and just play as like that enforcer role a little bit, right? Kind of like what Dwight did, but not as many like minutes or as significant as a role. Right, because, Robin Lopez, he's 7'1", 281 pounds. He's a good-sized body. You get into the playoffs, you play Dallas or something, it's like, hey, let's go in there, throw him in there, and let him give Jokic a couple good playoff fouls. I think he can make an impact. But next up, Seth Curry. Lakers could use some shooting. Go get a guy like a Seth Curry. There's another guy on this list that we'll touch on here in a moment that could also provide some shooting. But to me, Seth Curry is undersized. You're not asking him to really do anything else. To me, he's just a guy that you're throwing out on the court in limited minutes. Again, limited minutes. I wouldn't want to play him 30 minutes a game or anything like that. But like you saw with Dallas, he was a guy that was playing about 13 minutes per game. I would be okay with that, right? Give me like 13 to 15 minutes of Seth Curry. Bring him in, let him shoot, and can he get hot and make some big plays? This is a guy that's had some good seasons. Like with Brooklyn, not that long ago, was averaging 15 points per game. He was also shooting over 40% from three-point range. He had a season where he shot 47% on 6.5 attempts. And then the following season with Brooklyn, which was last year, he shot 40% on 4 attempts and averaged 9 points per game. With Dallas, he really didn't get much of a role. He started in 3 games, played 36 total. Again, 13 minutes per game. He was shooting from three-point range 36% on only 2.2 attempts. I think you put him next to LeBron, AD, even D'Lo, and just, again, very minimal minutes. I don't want to see him playing 30 minutes a game. I want to see him in a role to where, just to generate some offense. I put LeBron with Taurean Prince, Seth Curry, and D'Lo out there and just kind of just run and gun, spread the floor, spread teams out, and just maybe bolster your three-point percentage a little bit is just kind of my thought process with that. It's not something that I think is a necessity. I'd rather have the Lakers go get Spencer Dinwiddie and even like a Robin Lopez, just because I think we could use the size. But I don't hate the idea of going and acquiring Seth Curry as just like a limited, small role 3-point shooter that could, I think, make some, again, minimal impact. Because right now, basically all of our 3-point shooting comes from Taurean Prince and D'Angelo Russell. Be nice to add a couple guys. But continuing our shooting, Joe Harris. Joe Harris is available. Again, he was bought out. He was waived by the Detroit Pistons. Guy that come in, 6'6", 220 pounds, play the 2, play the 3. Minimal role guy. Again, I'm not looking to have him play 30 minutes a game. But he's a guy that can provide shooting. He's familiar with LeBron. He's played with LeBron in the past. And this is a guy that is a career 43%, almost 44% 3-point shooter on nearly 5 attempts, 4.7. So he's not one of those guys where you see some guys and it's like, oh yeah, they're 44% from 3, but on like 1.5 attempts per game. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, they only take like 1 3 every 20 games. No, this is a guy that legitimately has had high volume 3-point percentage seasons, right? Detroit, he was very limited, hardly played for the Detroit Pistons. But you look at the previous year with Brooklyn, he averaged 42, almost 43% from 3, 42.6% on 4.5 attempts. The year before that, he shot 46.6% for Brooklyn on 6 attempts. The year before that, with Brooklyn in the 2020-2021 season, he averaged 47.5% on 6.4 attempts. If he could do something like that, sign me up, right? Now, not this year, but the previous year, in which he shot 43%, he only played 20 minutes a game, where all the other years where he was shooting like 47% or better, he was averaging 30 minutes per game. To me, Joe Harris, I wouldn't mind him coming in, kind of playing in that like Taurean Prince type role and having just like another body like that can come in, provide some floor spacing, provide some 3-point shooting. I would rather have Joe Harris than Seth Curry, just because he's got more size and he's just more reliable and just, again, familiarity. Injury concerns, obviously, with Joe Harris, but he's a guy that I think makes a lot of sense for the Lakers. And I wouldn't be surprised, like, if the Lakers, I think the Lakers will get Spencer Dinwiddie. They get Spencer Dinwiddie. I wouldn't be shocked if Joe Harris is that other guy they go get, because he makes a lot of sense for the Lakers. A lot of sense. But time will tell. Last guy I want to talk about is Marcus Morris. Now, we've had his brother, Markieff Morris, and won a championship with him. And we got him off of a buyout. Maybe history will repeat itself with his brother. Now, this is actually the better brother. This is the guy that actually has had some real success and has been a key component in many years, and a guy that has had some excellent seasons in this league and in the NBA. I mean, this is a guy that has had seasons where he's averaged 20 points per game for teams like the Knicks, and then even with the Clippers, he had some really solid years in which he was averaging like 14 to 13 points per game, and he was solid for Philadelphia. It's more of his versatility. A guy that can defend multiple positions. He provides a level of toughness. He can defend the 3s, 4s. He can even get out on the perimeter and defend multiple guys. He's also a guy that has the potential and not regularly, but he has games like randomly where he'll just like go off. And he just like will go get you like 20 or 22, and you're just like, whoa, okay. He did it to the Lakers. He had a game where I think he had like 25 or something like that, 26 against the Lakers. Might have even been more than that. But if you look at Philadelphia this season, 37 games played total, 7 games start, 17 minutes per game. He shot 44% from the field in total. From 3-point range, he's shooting 40% this year on 2.4 attempts. If you look at last year with the Clippers. He shot 4.7 attempts and still shot 36%, 36.4% to be exact. He's shooting 47% from 2-point range on 3 attempts. Last season, he shot 48.4%. Foul line, he's actually up this year from last year with the Clippers at 86%. And with the Philadelphia 76ers averaging 7 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, half a steal, half a block. But if you look at the previous year with the Clippers, he averaged 11 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, and half a block. So, again, give you some veteran presence, give you a guy that has some versatility out on the perimeter that can defend multiple positions, can just add some toughness, a guy that can just be physical, which, again, the Lakers could really use some of that physicality. And I just think that that's something that he brings. I would like Marcus Morris, but would you? Or which guys on this list do you like? Is there anybody else that I didn't mention that you would like to see the Lakers pick up, right? There's guys like Daniel House who make sense. The list that I mentioned earlier. But anyway, again, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.